Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I know I haven't posted in a while. I think it was back in May that I posted my latest video, and I've been wanting to post more recently and I just haven't had the chance. But thank you guys so much. I have noticed that there's been a lot of new subscribers, so welcome. My life has been so crazy. So okay, you guys, I had to move like suddenly back at the end of June. So basically like 2 months ago. And it was such a stressful thing because it was all of a sudden and we had to find a place, and this housing market is crazy. We were renting, but like people are trying to sell their houses and the houses are being sold for really, really expensive. So it made finding a place to rent really hard, and my rent is so much more. I'm still trying to like settle down, and I just had not been having the chance to, make videos. And then also work has been really stressful lately too, because the Delta variant is very real and there's a lot more people coming into the clinic. People are definitely getting sick. Needless to say, my life has been very stressful. So this video is gonna be very different, and then the next couple of videos that I'm gonna be making are gonna be different too, because all the stress in my life. I don't want to be talking about work when I'm not in work, and I don't want to be talking about the virus when I don't have to be thinking about the virus. So the next couple of videos are going to be different. But the original purpose of my channel is to talk about just anything that school never taught you. So I know a lot of you have been asking a lot of questions about X-ray. I'll answer your guys' questions. But I don't want my whole entire channel to be X-ray. So this video, I'm gonna be talking about something that's really personal and close to my heart, and that is my adoption story. I was actually adopted from China, and this month, August, is my birth month, and I always get really sentimental around my birthday, my birth month and everything. Just because I don't like getting older, but then also because it makes me think a lot more about my adoption and my birth parents. When you talk to somebody who was adopted, they usually refer to their parents. They mean the people who adopted them and who took care of them as they grew up. And then you say birth parents as the people who, you're genetically related to, who you don't really know at all. So that's, in this video, that's what I'm going to be meaning when I say either my parents or my birth parents. So I just wanted to share my story. I kind of wanted, ever since I made this channel, to kind of share my adoption story, because I think that it is really, really important and unique, and it's definitely something very special and something definitely really close to my heart. I am totally a US citizen because I was adopted by people from the United States. I was adopted from China when I was 10 months old, but surprisingly, I am not 100% Han Chinese. I ended up doing a genetics test after I was an adult, and after I finally had somebody where I could spend on a genetics test, and I found out that I was not 100% Chinese. When I was growing up, people would try to guess my ethnicity, and they'd be like, oh, are you Vietnamese, or are you Filipino, or are you Korean or something? They'd never say, are you Chinese? Because I guess I don't look stereotypically Chinese. So it made me always wonder. So I am really curious to know what you guys think I might be. I'll share my DNA results at the end of this video. I am currently trying to learn Chinese through Duolingo, and I'm learning, but it's still really hard to say Chinese words and stuff. So yeah, I know I have an accent. I know that I'm going to totally butcher the names. I was born in the southern part of China in the city of Nanning, and the province is Guangxi. And that city is 90 miles away from the border of Vietnam. So it's very, very, very southern China. The city of Nanning is actually a really populous city. It's 7 million people. And it's known as the Green City because there are so many luscious trees. I was found when I was 3 days old, and I had a little note pinned on my clothing. It said that I was 8 pounds when I was born, which is a shock because it's really hard to imagine, because if you know me in real life, you know that I am like 5 feet tall and like 100 pounds. I'm like so small. It's like really weird to think that when I was a baby, I was 8 pounds. That's kind of a big baby. But anyways, and it also said the exact time that I was born and the exact date. And that is like a really, really important, like, special thing for people who are adopted, because a lot of the times people who are adopted, especially like international adoptions, you don't really know your exact birthday. So that's a really, really special thing that I actually do know my exact birthday. I was taken to a public orphanage, and I stayed there for about a month. And then I was placed into a foster home with a foster mother who I was really bonded deeply with when my parents adopted me. My parents are from the United States. It was my mom. My dad had to stay back home and work because he couldn't get off the 2 to 3 weeks that you have to be in China adopting a child. So it was just my mom and a family friend who came and adopted me. My mom said that when I was adopted, I had Chinese sounding baby talk, and I was already eating real food, and I did not want to eat any, like, drink any of the formula that she brought with her. My parents adopted me, and I went to live with them in the United States, and I became a US citizen. I was the very first child that my parents adopted. And then when I was almost 3 years old, my parents just decided to adopt a little 5-month-old baby girl from Guatemala. And so I grew up with her, and when I was about 7 years old, so a couple of years later, my parents decided to adopt a 12-year-old girl from China. So I went back to China with my mom, and we adopted her. Unfortunately, we are not genetically related, even though she's from China. She's from a province that is like north of Guangxi, Hunan province. But we did a genetics test years later, and yeah, we are not even like distantly related. We're not even cousins. I guess it was around 9 when we adopted another little girl from Guatemala who was 4 years old. She wasn't biologically related to my other sister from Guatemala, but yeah, so we adopted her. And then we found out that she had a biological sister in Guatemala who was 9, so we ended up adopting her. And by that time, I think I was 10. We had to wait a couple of months to adopt her. So yeah, in total, I have 4 adopted sisters who are, none of them are related genetically with me, but 2 of them are related to each other. So it's like a really complicated family story. I don't know, I like having a unique family. And obviously my family is like not perfect, but I am so grateful and blessed to have a loving family with a whole bunch of sisters. God has absolutely blessed us so much. And I'm thankful so much that I have an awesome career. My life has turned out so much better than I think it would have been if I had stayed in China. But sometimes I do like wonder what my life would have been like if I had stayed. And I always seem to think more about it like around my birthday. I think about my birth parents, what they had to go through, what kind of decisions they had to make. The very difficult decisions. What makes it really hard, I guess, to think about is because China, I guess if you guys don't know, China had this one-child policy from 1979 to 2015 where they would only allow couples in China to have one child. Of course, there were exceptions, and like rich people would be able to pay the expensive fees and fines to keep their children, and so they would be able to have more than one child. But most people in China were forced to have an abortion, were forced to be sterilized, or were forced to give up their child for adoption, and that's probably what happened in my case. I've always known that that's probably the reason why I was adopted, because of China's one-child policy. In 2016, China started to allow everybody to have 2 children. And then on May 31st of this year, 2021, they again changed their policy to make it a 3-child policy, where they're actually worried about the population decline in China, and they have been purposefully trying to get people to actually have more than 1 kid, more than 2 kids. They want everybody to have 3 kids because there is a population crisis in China right now. This change in policy has been really making me wonder what my life would have been if I had been born either before the one-child policy or after this one-child policy. I'm not gonna let my adoption define me. This is part of my story, this adoption, but it's not who I am. I guess I'm gonna tell you guys the results of my genetics test. So I did get tested with 2 genetics companies. One was, I think, CRI Genetics, and the other one was 23andMe. And they didn't exactly line up, but the gist of it is that I am just a little bit Han Chinese. According to 23andMe, I am only 1.7% Han Chinese, and I am 2.1% broadly Chinese and Southeast Asian, and then I am 24.6% Vietnamese, and then I am 71.6% Chinese Dai, which is a minority group in China, in southern China. And the Chinese Dai are actually an ethnic group that is really more closely related to the Vietnamese people than the Han Chinese people, which is really interesting. So, which is why I don't look I guess stereotypically like Han Chinese. So I guess that's why. Yeah, basically I'm a ethnic minority of China. So I think that's really cool. So thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna make some more videos, not necessarily X-ray related, but they're just gonna be different. And yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.